Today, we walk around with terabytes of data resting easily in our pockets. A single smartphone holds thousands of photos, high-definition videos, and complete libraries of documents, and we rarely give it a second thought. But jump back to the 1950s, and the data equation looks wildly different. The world's earliest hard drives maxed out at just 50 kilobytes of storage, and moving that tiny amount of data required a commercial freight truck. Early computer systems were massive, industrial installations. Processing basic numerical data required arrays of equipment that consumed entire rooms, dwarfing the operators who ran them. To put that 50 kilobyte capacity into perspective, look at this comparison. A single standard photo taken on your phone today is roughly 5 megabytes. If you tried to fit that one image into a 1950s drive, it would crush it entirely, demanding over 100 times more space. A 50 kilobyte limit means no short videos, no standard PDF documents, not even a basic modern web page. Early computing required the largest physical footprint to manage the smallest amount of data. Those massive dimensions were necessary because a 1950s computer was less like a modern circuit board and more like heavy industrial machinery. To route electrical signals, engineers relied on arrays of vacuum tubes. These glass components were highly fragile, incredibly bulky, and demanded huge amounts of electricity just to function. Storing the data itself was a mechanical process. Information was written and read by physically rotating massive magnetic drums at high speeds. Operating these mechanisms generated intense friction and massive heat output. Keeping the metal from warping required dedicated, room-sized cooling systems blowing constantly. Extracting information from these machines involved heavy manual labor. Operators had to physically load media and pull large mechanical levers on control panels just to run a process. In those early years, computing was constrained by the laws of thermodynamics. Data storage was a problem of mechanical engineering, measured in torque, heat dissipation, and kilograms. Breaking out of those mainframe rooms required stripping away the heavy moving parts. The late 20th century became a sprint to miniaturize data storage. By the 1970s, the floppy disk arrived. For the first time, simple text files and basic programs could be physically carried by hand from one machine to another. The 1980s compressed those massive magnetic drums into thin internal platters, allowing hard disk drives to fit neatly inside a desktop chassis. The 1990s shifted toward optical storage. Lasers read data etched into compact disks, making it cheap and easy to distribute software directly to personal desktops. Then, the early 2000s eliminated moving parts entirely for portable media. USB flash drives reduced stacks of optical disks down to a small stick, putting gigabytes of capacity directly into your pocket. Moving several gigabytes of information shifted from a delicate logistical task to an action that could occur while walking between offices, with the drive never leaving a pocket. 4 decades of relentless physical compression took computing out of industrial laboratories and turned it into an accessible, personal tool. The mechanical drive was finally sidelined in the 2010s with the rise of the solid-state drive. SSDs removed spinning magnetic platters and read heads completely. Without friction or mechanical motion to slow things down, processing speeds spiked and hardware reliability improved drastically. This solid-state architecture allowed engineers to stack memory cells densely. Suddenly, drives holding 1, 2, or even 8 terabytes of data fit easily into the palm of a hand. Look at this chart comparing a 1950s mainframe like the IBM 305 to a modern smartphone. You see the heavy industrial weight required to store just kilobytes of data on the left, completely inverted on the right by the modern phone weighing just ounces but holding terabytes. And capacity is only the starting point. When you track the secondary performance metrics, the phone holds vastly more RAM, runs faster processors, and renders sharper graphics. The modern smartphone performs the same core tasks as a $1 million 1950s mainframe, consolidating several tons of industrial equipment into a few ounces of glass and silicon. Yet, despite mastering miniature hardware, we are hitting a new bottleneck. The artificial intelligence boom is generating data at a pace that physical silicon struggles to match. Between billions of high-resolution media uploads and the massive datasets required to train AI models, solid-state drives are pushed to their limits. To keep up, researchers are looking past traditional electronics. They are testing DNA storage, encoding petabytes of digital information directly into biological sequences. Beyond biology, physicists are exploring quantum memory, abandoning solid physical material entirely to store vast datasets in subatomic states. But for now, we rely on the sleek devices resting on our desks and in our hands to access our digital lives. Delivering 50 kilobytes by truck sounds absurd to us today. In a few decades, looking back at our terabyte hard drives will likely prompt the exact same reaction. The physical machines shrink, but our capacity to store information will continue to expand.